if I told you that the moment your heart stops beating, you don't immediately go to heaven or face judgment, but instead find yourself in a realm that ancient Vedantic texts call Kamaloka, the sphere of desires, where every unfulfilled longing, every passionate attachment, every earthly craving you've ever felt becomes your entire reality. Tonight we begin a journey through the three invisible worlds that the ancient sages of India mapped thousands of years ago in the sacred Vedantic teachings. What you're about to discover will forever change how you view death, desire, and the true nature of consciousness itself. Picture this. You've just died, but you're still you. Your consciousness remains intact, your memories clear, but something fundamental has changed. The physical body is gone, yet you find yourself clothed in what the ancient texts call the sukshma sharira, the subtle body made of your emotions, thoughts, and unfulfilled desires. This is Kamaloka, and according to the timeless wisdom of Vedanta, it's where every human soul must go first, after death. But this isn't punishment, it's purification. The ancient Vedantic sages, through millennia of meditation and direct spiritual experience, revealed that Kamaloka exists on what they called the astral plane, a realm where consciousness operates through the subtle body rather than the physical form. The Sanskrit texts describe how after death, the jiva, individual soul, finds itself enveloped in layers of subtle matter corresponding to its unfulfilled desires. These desires, called vasanas, act like invisible chains, binding consciousness to this intermediate realm until they can be released. Think of Kamaloka as cosmic purification. Every earthly desire that bound you to physical existence, your craving for sensual pleasures, material possessions, power, or recognition, must be gradually dissolved before you can ascend to higher realms of consciousness. The ancient texts reveal three distinct experiences in Kamaloka based on the nature of one's earthly life. First are those who lived intensely passionate lives, driven by what the Vedas call rajasic energy. For them, Kamaloka can be a realm of intense suffering as they experience these desires without the physical means to satisfy them. Imagine being desperately thirsty but existing in a realm where water is just a memory. Then there are the ordinary souls, those who lived what Vedanta calls sattvic lives, generally good but still attached to worldly concerns. For them, Kamaloka is a dreamy, peaceful state as they gradually release their attachments through a natural process of spiritual digestion. Finally, there are the spiritually advanced, those who during life had already begun the process the texts call vairagya, detachment from worldly desires. They might pass through Kamaloka so quickly they barely notice it, already prepared for the next stage of their journey. But Kamaloka serves a crucial purpose beyond purification. The ancient sages called this the second death. Not the death of the physical body, but the death of the desire nature itself. What the texts describe as the kama-rupa, desire form, gradually disintegrates, layer by layer, until only the pure essence of consciousness remains. The Vedantic teachings emphasize that this process isn't arbitrary. It follows the eternal law of karma. The duration and intensity of the Kamalokic experience is precisely determined by the spiritual weight of accumulated desires. Some souls pass through in days. Others may remain for decades, working through lifetimes of accumulated attachments. What emerges from this process is profound. The pure essence of who you really are, freed from the compulsions and cravings that once defined your earthly personality. The ancient texts call this purified consciousness the immortal essence, ready to experience higher realms of bliss. Modern near-death experiences often describe encountering deceased relatives or spiritual guides. According to Vedantic wisdom, these encounters frequently happen in the Kamalokic realm, where consciousness still operates somewhat like earthly awareness, making such interactions possible. The ancient warnings emphasize that souls with intense attachments may try to communicate with the living or even attempt to possess them to satisfy unfulfilled desires. This is why the traditional texts advise against disturbing the dead through spiritual practices. It can trap them longer in Kamaloka when they should be moving forward on their journey. So here's your contemplation. What desires are you nurturing now that might become chains in Kamaloka? What attachments are you building that could delay your soul's journey toward liberation? The ancient sages taught that the wise person begins the work of Kamaloka while still alive, practicing what they called mumukshutva, the intense desire for liberation that gradually dissolves all lesser desires. In our next episode, we'll explore what happens after this purification is complete, the extraordinary realm the ancients called Devachan or Svarga, where the soul experiences bliss beyond all earthly comprehension. The journey through the invisible worlds has only just begun.